Good morning.
Oh. So lost track of time.
Yes, we did.
You
Like
called
we
me
never-
out on it this time.
It's like we can talk forever.
We can. Well, hello, everybody. If you're in Ohio, we actually have decent weather for a change today.
It's beautiful out. I'm telling you, it's supposed to be almost 80 today here.
I know. I'm not going to know what to do with myself when I have to go run errands in a little bit.
Right.
Let's see. We were a little late coming in because we were talking and planning some dates for some in-person events. So keep an eye out for that. Hello, all of our friends. I still think like I need to get like a map behind me and start pinpointing where all of our friends are.
That would be fun.
Well, thank you for listening to the podcast already. I really like this episode mainly because I like geocaching. So it's a fun hobby. But my kids did and loved it. Yeah, I like geocaching.
And see, I missed that because our kids were already too old when that became a thing. I'm sure if that had happened earlier, that 9:04. Well, that's 11:04 here.
Yeah.
So
or 10:04. Yeah.
Yeah. So we never did it, but I'm sure that would have been something we probably would have done too.
I was a supervisor at a rest stop. There was a hidden treasure there. Yeah, they're almost always on a highway rest stop. Almost always, because it's easy to pull off, go grab it, mark it down, keep going. They're fun. They're fun. Let's see. Hello, everybody. All of our friends on all of our platforms. Hello, Frog Lady. I mean, that's what we do, right? Hello, Veronica. And Nancy. I feel like the romper stomper boo lady.
I know we need that mirror in front of us, the magic mirror, right?
For some reason, my child brain kept equating it to a tennis racket.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Don't. Who knows? So many drugs as a sick child. Who knows? My shirt is a knockoff between Metallica and Nightmare Before Christmas. So it looks like the one album cover except redone. Jack Skellington, like anybody surprised. So who all else geocaches? Marianne, I think I'm going to have to take you out and go find a geocache one day.
Yeah, I'm thinking of all the cool things I could have left for people to get. I don't know, that probably would have been fun.
Yeah, it's romper room, right? So people are wanting to know, did you find out how Mousy died in this morning's episode?
No, they knew that it was from the fall, but they never determined if she was murdered or not.
Okay.
And especially with the drugs in her system. So,
88 down there.
Wow.
Hello, and Mentor. Hello, Heather. I have never worried in geocaching of bringing home a ghost ever.
It's the silliest things. You almost think, well, an antique store, a flea market, someplace like that, you could almost see it. But that's such a simple family pleasure, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
It can just happen anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. You're more usually worried about poison ivy, hornets, bees, those type of nuisances, not well, here comes an invisible friend home.
Right.
Remember what city she was from, or what did she say?
Don't remember.
Thank you, Brooke. Great cup from Miss Brooke, and using my little skull spoon
Oh,
to go with
jeez.
it. 43 going on 12.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Gotta have fun, right? Marrying geocache. I used to have quite a few out and about that I would, care and tend to and put out. I kind of shut a lot of them down, or there were a couple people that took them over to keep an eye on just because I've gotten to be so busy. But there's only been two that I could never ever find, and one was in a library. Like the library knew that it was there; they had permission to be there, and it wasn't a problem solving one. It really was a hiding, and all of the librarians knew it was there, and they would not tell you where it was. And I spent a few hours in there running hands underneath all bookshelves, looking for the fake book, looking, and I'm like, is this a problem solving one that I just don't, am I not getting all of the info in the description to find where I should be looking for this cache? Then, just never got back to it after a few hours. And then one, what was it called? Passing Along the Love, maybe? But it was in this like little, maybe no bigger than my dining room patch of like overgrown grass, trees, weeds, and off of a community soccer field area. And I can't tell you how many days and how many hours that stupid cache like never found this thing. And like it was becoming like a vengeance, like I will find this, and never could. I mean, I was checking every branch for a fake branch, fake rocks, fake grass, lifting ever. I'm like, where is, looking up, I'm like, so help me if I have to climb a tree. Like, where is this? Never found it. And I'm like, I refuse to go out until I know somebody who has, and I want to watch them walk up and like pick it up and go, here it is.
You never did.
No. That was my nemesis. I don't even know if that one's still active. I'd have to go pull up a log chart and see if it's still, even up. Because I mean, there were so many people who couldn't find it that it's like, is it missing? People who have found thousands and thousands of caches couldn't find it. And then every now and then somebody's like, nope, it's there. I promised you, I checked it. It's there. Like, lies. What is geocaching? It is kind of like hide and seek. So I can go hide a container of some sort. There is no rule on the container other than it's got to blend into the surroundings. Be it, I've seen people use old film canisters wrapped in like camo tape and like with a little hook hung up in a tree. I've seen people fashion fake rocks. So, like you can get those rocks for your garden that you put your key in. They'll get like a small little container, stick it in that rock and like place it somewhere. That's why I'm like, I'm checking for fake rocks. People have buried, Tupperware bowls or whatever. And then you upload the coordinates to geocaching.com, and other people who like finding these, download the coordinates and go look and see if they can find it. And there's almost always a strip of paper in there that you sign and date it that you found it. So it really is just a pleasure hunting. Like there's no real big reward for finding any. There are some that will be in a series. There's some parks, like there was a set along the Great Lakes, and you start at one end and you get your geocaching like map stampy thing. And every time you find one, you would go into the nearby visitor center or whatnot and verify that you found it. You would stamp it. And then at the last one, they would check all of your stamps. And then you would get like this commemorative coin or whatever to prove that you found the whole series. I have a geo-tracking bug on my old car. It's my son's car that he's using right now. So you can technically find my car. You can scan it and say, found you, but you're really finding my kid. Ghosts like geo. Well, I'm sure if they liked it when they were alive, they might like it when they're dead too.
Well, that's it. And this was a kid. So, and her parents did it. So, of course, she would be interested in it. So,
Hapsing love doing it too. Yeah, it's fun. It really is. And it doesn't really cost you anything other than the gas to drive around to go find them. So it's a fun thing, and a lot of kids enjoy doing it. There's some that like you can only find at night. I did one of those. It was fun. Um, Now then there are some extreme ones where you better be like a pro rock climber or diver because whoever planted like is down low. And I'm like, well, I'm never going after those. How long has it been around?
It's a way to get the kids out too. I mean, the weather's beautiful. Get the kids outside. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was not around when my girls were young, so I don't really know when it got so popular. And my youngest was born in 72, so it had to be quite a bit after that.
So the National Geographic Society said geocaching started around 2000, the year 2000.
Well, that makes sense. Seeing my kids were born in the 72, so yeah.
Does it say found or do you put it back? So you can sign the little log. The log is understood that if you sign it, obviously you found it. Then you put your date, and then you put the log back in, and you put the geocache back how you found it or better. And when I say or better, it means like if you happen to find it laying on the ground and it clearly has a hook and it should have been hanging somewhere, maybe the wind knocked it down, you put it back where it should have been. And the point of this too, you're finding these in public places and you're not wanting to necessarily be seen doing it because people who do not geocache are referred to as muggles. And what do nosy people do? They come over and they usually ruin something, right? So that's when things go missing or it gets torn apart. So you're trying to, low key find it, sign it, put it back. Not everybody who's not a geocache will ruin it, but part of my story that I referenced, and Brooke was already messaging me that she's like, oh, we got to talk about what happened at the one at your store. And I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, that's a perfect example of muggles who ruined a geocache that I had to replace.
See, there's somebody that's always got to ruin something. They just can't leave it alone. They got to mess it up.
Mm-hmm. So the one I had at my store was in the parking lot at the end by where employees would park at the Borders, which is now a Books-A-Million in Sandusky. The kind that I hid was called a skirt lifter because a lot of parking lot lights have that square metal piece at the bottom of the light before it hits the concrete. It will slide up and it's called a skirt. So skirt lifter. And you can use a magnet to put it like on the upper inside or set a little something, up in there. And that's what I had, was just like a little baggie that I had wrapped in like dark gray duct tape. So it kind of blended in with the color. When you first lifted it, it wasn't like bright orange. It would stick out at you. And they had put one there. Now, mind you, one of my employees, who was the cleaning maintenance person, had been out on break, had been sitting in his car. He's a muggle. Here comes the geocacher, pulled up, got it, signed it, put it back, did not notice the maintenance employee sitting in the car. This maintenance employee comes in, gets one of my inventory people, they were buddies, and says, dude, we got to go out. So next thing I know, inventory employee is like, I need, what was it called? A 555 at the door for lunch. And I'm like, this guy never goes up, but whatever, not my business. So anytime somebody left, you always had to check on, make sure they weren't leaving with stuff. So I give him his 555, out the door he goes, not a problem. Go back to my office, finish my paperwork. Maintenance employee comes back in 10 minutes later. Lunch is obviously not done, but here he comes. And he's like, what's that game called again that you do? And I go, what are you talking about? Because to me, geocaching, I don't think of it as a game, but I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, where you hide and find things. And I'm like, geocaching? And he's like, yeah. He goes, how does that work? Is there one in our parking lot? And I go, yeah, there's one in our parking lot. He goes, oh. He goes, what did it look like? And I'm like, well, it was just a little baggie out in the parking lot. Why? And he goes, is this it? And it's been ripped apart. And I mean, they had to work hard because all they had to do was a Ziploc bag, open it. Like they tore it open. And that was some work because that was duct tape wrapped around that. And I'm like, what did you do to my geocache? She goes, well, what had happened was, so maintenance employee out there sees this guy get this bag, do something with it, put it back. His mind, a drug drop just happened, and he picked up the drugs, put the money back. He's going in to get employee number 2 to come out, get the drug money. Well, there was no drug money to be had. So I'm like, you're fired. Just get out of my face. You're fired. So I'm like, okay. So I had to log in and like put it as like under maintenance. So if somebody else was on their way to come find it, you know, it wouldn't be missing. Just like, hey, don't bother stopping. It's under maintenance right now. Because we were on the road. I don't know if you remember, Marianne, like on that main stretch that would head into the amusement park out there. What is that? Cedar Point.
Right.
So I would get a lot of people stopping and picking up that cash. And I was also hoping like they would wander into the bookstore. But so knowing that like that's a heavy hit cash because of how close we were to Cedar Point in the tourist traffic, I'm like, well, now I need to pull that down until I can get it replaced because, you know, muggles thought they were picking up drug money. Because the geocacher didn't look at the surrounding and see, hey, there's somebody sitting right there. I need to wait for them to leave or come back and get this later when there's not somebody sitting in the car right in front of the pole. So I've ran from cops from doing geocaching, trying to get a cache back in, and the cop driving by and you're over by a pole and you're just kind of like casually turning around like, I will come back later. So yeah, it can be fun. It can be fun. Just
it could be stressful too, it sounds like.
Nah, it's adventurous. I haven't done it. Well, other than, you know, when I travel, I try to find one everywhere we go just to say, like, I've got at least one in Arizona, one in Colorado, one in Michigan, one in Florida, one in.
Right.
Just to say. But yeah, it's a fun hobby activity. There are geocaches that will be specifically done for little kids. Like there's toys and they want you to take a toy for your child. Remember those old Tupperware bowls that were like that big around and they were like baby poop yellow?
Right.
There was an elderly couple who put one on their property and it did say like, you have permission to come on the property. And they just buried some landscaping rocks around it. And it was full of Hot Wheels and little bitty dolls and stuff. And they just wanted little kids to have toys. That was the main reason why they put it out there. And if they were home and you pulled up, they come say hi. And, you know, it's fun. It's a really fun activity. Do your pets get to go to the white light when they?
Absolutely. The white light is for anybody that breathes. And so, yes, there's definitely a white light for them too. And they've got a time period just like a human does. And most animals, I do believe, cross over. Not that I haven't seen any, but most of them, I think, do cross over.
So be sure to wear your charm in geocaching.
Yeah, you never know.
Right? It is old school Pokemon Go. When Pokemon Go came out, I'm like, this is geocaching, literally. Except apparently because geocachers are, or the caches are put out by real actual humans. So when you upload a geocache, like you say, I'm going to put one here. There are rules that you have to follow. It can't be within so much distance of surrounding geocaches. It cannot be in a church. It cannot be in a school. It cannot, you know, it's a matter of safety for everybody involved. And I guess when the Pokemon Go came out, the game designers like uploaded it, and here comes this computer program and just drops where all of these Pokemon are that you run around and find with your phone. So churches in the middle of services were having people like rush in to claim a Pokemon. Businesses, you know, you're trying to conduct something and here comes these group of people just coming in just to grab that and like leave. And I think there were some schools that were having problems with that too. So, you know, at least with the geocaching, like, and there's rules you have to follow. And when you upload it for approval, like it's actually being double checked. It doesn't immediately go live, just to make sure you're following all the rules for everybody being safe. But yeah, it's a fun game. We're like, Marianne is lost. We're gonna have to take you geocaching, Marianne.
Yeah, no. No, it's like, and it's like, oh my God, now you're jumping to a man, and I don't even know what a Pokemon is.
Right, Pokemon. Pokemon. That little cartoon with the red and white ball. I couldn't get into it.
I never saw it, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's like we had one on our street and cars constantly in the cul-de-sac. Was it a Pokemon or a geocache that you had? But yeah, I've been more worried about poison ivy, poison oak, spiders, snakes, not a ghost following me.
Just gave somebody else something else to think about.
Right. It's called a scavenger hunt protect, right? We get to use multi-million-dollar satellites to find Tupperware in the woods.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Adulting at its finest. Oh, you had a Pokemon in your cul-de-sac. Is it still there or did it get yanked? I don't know how often they move those around. A couple of my readers through the store would play Pokemon Go. Thank you. The question is, how old were you the first time you saw a portal and what was your impression? Were you even aware what was going on with it?
No, I wasn't. I was probably only about 11 or 12 when I saw it for the first time. And I did try to explain it to my grandmother, which she had no clue. And I didn't see anybody out of it. And I just couldn't, and no matter what I did, it wouldn't go away. So I just left it. And I was probably about 5 or 6 years later, I saw another portal. Back then, I didn't see him very often. And there was a man out of that portal that was from that portal. So that's where I actually got more information from that. Because again, my grandmother still didn't have a clue what the heck it was. So
I was going to say, how did you learn how to go ahead and then close it then? Was it just?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, it was just a matter of when I found a portal on a mirror. I wasn't afraid, Rhonda. I don't know. I probably should have been, but I wasn't. And I don't know why. But when I figured out how to close it on an object, it was very easy to close it then on a wall.
Looking if I have to go swipe my cat down. I got my window partially open for, the nice weather, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to get in that window.
Oh, okay.
Are we in a Mercury retrograde?
No, not yet.
Is Gatorade in the microwave? You know what? And I forgot to show it last week, so I just loaded it up. Funny little meme, because I was like, maybe if we have a funny little ghost meme every week, just in case somebody's having a bad day, a little chuckle. And I often wonder, these ghost hunters on these TV shows who are, always asking for something to happen. And then when it does, they take off out of the building.
It's that old question is that little saying, if you don't want to know, don't ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. As a matter of fact, I did a house last week, which threw me. The gal had been on Zoom, and I had told her there was a portal in the house. And I talked to her, and we did a little try this till I can come out, which she did. And there was still a ghost out of the portal, which I couldn't understand how, because she did what I had asked her to do here. And I haven't found very many of them. She had a double portal. She had one on both sides of the wall.
Oh, wow.
And that was totally, I bet I haven't seen one of those in 45 years. And I was so surprised because after I closed it, she says, "Well, how did he get out?" I went, "I don't know." And it just, you don't know how that bugs me when I don't know an answer to something. And so I walked into the room on the other side, and I'm standing there and I'm looking from one side to the other. Sure enough, there was one on the other side. Exact opposite of the one on this side was on this side. So it's like, oh great, now I have to start looking for something else.
Now I wonder, like, if the ghost went in on either side, was it just the outer walls of the same like hallway on the inside, or did each one lead to somewhere different? Like,
I would think it led to the same place.
okay.
I would think, because the one house, now I've been in houses where there have been two portals, but not back to back.
Gotcha.
And those two, yeah, those two that were in the same houses went to the same portal. So this for sure, because like I said, it was a mirror of each other. So it would have gone to the same portal. Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got to do this whole like list of questions to ask any ghost out of portals. Like, what's going on here? Like, before I send you back, I have questions that
Right.
people would like to know. Let's see here. A couple of questions to catch up on. Sandy asks, is there any way possible that I could develop your gift, or is it truly a gift that I cannot attain?
You can learn how to remove negative energy off of a person, place, or thing, and that can be taught. But I have no idea how to teach somebody how to see a ghost. I think either you do or you don't. And kids, I think everybody can do it, especially children, but when they get to a certain age, they lose it because they don't use it. But no, the only thing I can tell you is, if you think you have any inkling in that direction, start reading whatever it is you're interested in. Are you interested in numerology or astrology or, tarot? What are you interested in? Just read all you can on whatever the subject is that you're interested in.
Let's see. And then Mary asks, is there a way to initiate a communication session with a ghost?
For what reason, I have no idea why you would even want to do that. But if you're trying to talk to spirits that crossed over, that is what a psychic medium does. If you think you have an earthbound spirit in your house, you do not want to talk to them, because all you're doing is giving them more energy, which is going to be an energy drain on you and everybody in your house. So don't feed into it.
Nice. Now, Coins and Ghouls says, can't find the Law of Abundance on Marianne's site. Let me go look.
Jeez, oh man.
Waiting for it to load.
I don't know what it is about electronics on this side of Cleveland. I don't understand. Can't find it again.
Poking around here, poking around.
Well, I know for sure that there is one next Wednesday on the 19th, and that one is the one on the 19th is March, April 19th. No, it's actually not the 19th, it's the 20th, and it is at 12:13 a.m. Eastern time. But I don't know why it's not on this. I have no idea why it's not on there. Did you find it, Melissa?
So your new moon calendar is on here on your Law of Abundance. The little drop down happens. But The actual showing of like what the check looks like.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the. I'll get the webmaster on it.
Your Mercury retrograde dates are there.
They are or aren't?
They are. So Friday, April 21st is the start of the next
new one. Great. Great.
Yeah, just looking to see if maybe it got, let me check under your, poking around on your website, being nosy, seeing if it just happened to be on the wrong page. Maybe not so much.
Well, get it figured out, because I know they were working on the newsletter to come out, because that should come out beginning of next week with the new moon. So
yeah, I don't see the check anywhere.
They'll have to look at it again.
Do ghosts mess with websites?
You know what? If they're standing close to a computer when you're trying to work on it, the computer, you're going to have trouble with the computer because they disrupt electric. So will that affect? Probably. You know, I know it affects printers where the printers won't work, and then you leave the room and the printer goes off. It's craziest thing.
Well, I'm sure like if your web lady's trying to work on the website and they're messing around near the computer, it's gonna.
That's right.
Act like it's loaded, but it didn't, mess with the cache on the back end.
Right.
Michelle says, my mom passed a little over 2 years ago, and Easter morn, close to 3 a.m., spoke to me. I had just closed my eyes, and she says, I wonder who that was that came into my room. Then she laughed and says, that's where I was.
And see, again, they are comfortable when you are in a sleeping mode. That's where they are comfortable to come and talk to you, because it doesn't scare you when it's like that.
Vicky's like, I don't think very many people could handle Mary Ann's gift as gracefully as she does.
You have no idea what goes on when this computer isn't
on. Let's see. Does Mercury retrograde affect the gardens in spring?
I don't think so, because it's communication. That's what Mercury affects, communication. So I would not think so. No. If you've got trouble with your garden in the spring, I would look at a farmer's almanac.
Or maybe have your soil tested
or something. Yeah, exactly. And like, this is crazy. We had so many warm days. Have you noticed how many, almost, it looks like summer outside with all the flowers blooming. It's crazy.
I've been tempted. Hyacinths are my favorite spring flower, and they smell so good, and they're already, out. And I'm just like, but I could keep them in a pot, right? But then I don't want to have to store the little pots
with
when
the bulbs
are done, So I'm that.
And what happened to you, Melissa? You disappeared.
I did. Swiping on the keypad. That's human error, not human error. But I'm the weirdo at the garden center, like loving on all of the hyacinths and then petting them and be like, oh, find a good home.
Yeah, when we lived in Worcester, hyacinths and tulips were the deer's favorite thing to eat down there. They would walk down the sidewalk like it was a salad bar, just picking the tulip heads or the daffodil heads or the hyacinths, and just standing there munching and going to the next one. It's like, great. I just love feeding the deer.
Right. Oh, Amy likes them too, or walking around the garden center. No, ghosties, no, just human error. On the trackpad, went to like hit something else, but the trackpad registered as me doing a back motion, so it sent my browser back out of the studio. So technology, human error with technology. Let's see. Yeah, Michelle's like, it was like she was trying to tell me something, pieces of a puzzle. That was the first time I've heard from her.
Now that you've seen her once, she'll probably come more often. And I think they have to try it first, and then they sort of finesse it, make it easier for you to understand and for them to understand you. So it'll get better the more that you do it.
Mm. Rhonda says the moon affects the germination, but Mercury does not, and the sun does for sure. So
she's right. That's exactly right. And if you read a farmer's almanac, it's all about the moon and the sun, when to plant.
Oh, Vicky, she's like, I lost my crocuses to deer or rabbits a few weeks
ago.
Let's see. Oh, Sandy likes the hyacinths and the lilacs. I always like the cool hydrangea bushes, how they can be kind of cool colored, be purple into like a dark blue, depending on soil.
Right.
The ground, the soil at my old house, like just would not, no matter how many times I tried different additives, or, I think it was too acidic for them. They just wouldn't last. But, I would have the bleeding hearts and the lilacs, the snapdragons, and somehow the squirrels decided I needed daffodils. So at one point, like a patch of daffodils showed up one year, and, but for some reason, hydrangeas just would not take, or lavender. I could grow anything else in that ground, but lavender and hydrangea just would not go.
That was like me when the house plants were the big thing. I could grow anything in a hanging basket except a wandering Jew. I just could not grow that. And of course, Ted, honey, we're Catholic. Do you expect it to grow in our house?
Oh, no.
It's like, stop.
Ted. At one point for a couple years, it had started in a pot. It was the the perennial chamomile. There's an annual and then there's a perennial. One's German, one's Roman. And I forget which one's which. But it jumped from the pot and started growing in the yard. And it likes being walked on, ran over. So I'd let the kids run their bikes. So I'm like, spread it. I'm like, if it will take over the yard, then we don't have to mow the front yard anymore. And it'll be amazing. But one of my last summers there, something just came through and kind of wiped out like everything. The bearded irises were gone. The bleeding hearts were gone. I was down to like the one tulip. The daffodils were still okay. And the hyacinths on the opposite side, but everything that was in that front and side that's actually facing where we would be doing our ghost walk, just white. Yeah. She Ready says, Melissa, have either of you thought about checking out one or two videos here where people post for a woo or boo, yay or nay kind of segment? So are you meaning like people's own ghost footage, or is that what you mean? I know we kind of pulled up that photo from the Mexican president, Marianne, and you're like, nope, that was a nay. Let's see. It might be fun. It might be fun. We'd have to be careful, though, of whose footage or pictures we were showing. Sandy's never had good luck with hydrangeas either. Russian sage. I had a nice big monster one that the ex-husband killed. He trimmed it way too far back. German is the perennial. Thank you. Sandy's our resident herb witchy lady. I think Rhonda might be too, with the way she was talking. Let's see. Mary says, it's been a difficult 2023 so far. I'm having vivid dreams with lost loved ones when previously I had no dreams with them at all.
If they are not dreams that are comforting or dreams that you want to see again, that is them not in your dreams. That is you having a dream about them. Total difference. Earthbound spirits cannot get into dreams. So, nope, it is not. It is, and like I says, if your loved ones have crossed over, they will not be in bad dreams. So,
yeah, it's like we could do famous videos and debunk them or approve them.
I just don't think I would want to be that person looking at somebody else's videos and trying to point out the flaws. I mean, the picture of the president, that was national and a yay or a nay. But I think with a lot of Ghostbusters, I'm on their questionable list anyway, because I am not a buddy of Ghostbusters. And so to look at some of their videos and then start putting them down, yeah, I can't do that.
Let's see. Peonies are really pretty too, and they smell good.
I love peonies. The trouble is they're so full of ants.
Well, that's what makes them open. They need the ants.
I know, but you cut a bunch and you bring them in the house, and the next thing you know, the cats have lost their mind because there's ants running around everywhere.
So shake it out really good. Make sure there's no ants.
That's right.
Let's see. There was another question from Mr. Beyond. There we go. Says, I saw a UFO over at my boyfriend's house. It was huge. I dreamed I was levitating. The dream told me hematite would help me feel better and less lightheaded. Do you know anything about hematite?
Melissa, that is yours.
Hematite has a lot of iron in it. So that's why it's a pretty heavy grounding stone, and it is heavy actually feeling because of the amount of iron in it. Why it can be a slightly more expensive stone in some of the rock shops, because you buy stones by weight. So you get fewer by weight. That being said, you might even be able to find a piece of iron by itself, like an old railroad stake or, something of the sort. A colleague of mine doesn't believe in any of the stones or their properties at all, but yet will use minerals. And for him, when his anxiety or he's too just out of himself, he's got a couple iron stakes, and that brings him right back to where he needs to be. And I'm like, but you don't believe that the iron in the rock does the same thing? Okay, got it.
Their way or no way.
Yeah, we'll just let him have it. We smile
That's
and
right.
pat him on the head, send him on his way.
That's right.
But it's probably the iron in that hematite that's kind of bringing you down. It's a very earthy mineral. So, but hematite's going to be a little easier to stick in your pocket than an old railroad tie, right? So,
right.
But if you're in an old house with those old heaters, that were made out of cast iron, walk over and go put your hand on there if you're feeling a little spacey. Probably help you.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and you know what? I forgot about that. I guess deer don't like peonies.
No, they don't. They left them all. Right. You're right.
Frogly, she's like, I'd kill a fake plant, but I'm surprised my aloe. Well, you know what? Aloe is actually kind of easy to do.
Yeah, you can't kill them, and you can't kill the big leafy things. They grow everywhere.
The ferns or whatever,
they get the blue spike with the little bells on them in this fall. I'll think about it. I don't remember it.
There you go, Rhonda. Good suggestion. Swirl a peony.
Yeah, that's what I started doing then, exactly. But I put a bucket of water outside and ran them around in the bucket outside, not in the kitchen sink.
Hostas.
Hostas, thank you. And of course you would know. But I have brought, okay, 13 from 75. I was 12 years old, and I still have hosta cuttings from my mother's house when I was 12 years old.
Oh, how nice.
I just bring a piece with me everywhere I go. You can't kill a hosta. And I've mailed more pieces of that across the United States than they take.
Nice. Let's see. Brooke's like, I love plants and help them energetically, but I'm not good at maintaining a plant care routine. Yeah. Let's see. Have somebody asked if you had ever worked with the TAPS crew?
I have not.
Paranormal Society.
I know who they are, and I've been on a couple shows with a couple of them, but I never worked with them. I don't work with groups like that at all. I I would just sit there and roll my eyes. I can't believe what they have to do. As a matter of fact, an upcoming podcast is going to have a whole story about that.
Well, this will be interesting. How much editing out am I going to have to do to keep us on the legal side of right?
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I say it's like I kill houseplants, but outdoor ones do well for me. I used to be that person I could go and get like a dead plant on the half off shelf, bring it back, thrive it. Now, probably just because I'm so busy and everything. Like you give me a live plant, like, and it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I had an air plant for a while on my desk that was in the store. Then it went to my desk when I had the office. And, but because I never got to be in my office as much, I was like, oh, you poor little thing. I forgot about you.
But you could, sometimes you can bring them back.
I'm going to have to try. I'm going to have to sit it in a cup of water for about 14 days and see if a miracle will happen.
Right.
Let's see. Do you have to join somewhere to get a question answered? If so, where? Nope, just put it in the chat. The only thing that can be sometimes is I am streaming to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. And depending on the chat, it might get missed, but I do try to scroll through there and look for any that I've missed, or if it is appropriate is the only other thing. Because sometimes it's not happened in a while, but every now and then we'll get a little troll. And then I have to be nice and just ignore them rather than mess with them. Let's see. Now, Mary Ann, so today we did geocaching on our podcast, and that is available everywhere. We are not recording a podcast today because you have people coming to do some housework for you.
Roof work. And that'll be a little loud.
Yeah, it'll be hard. I don't know how much my program can take out all the background noise. Let's see. Okay, there's your question back there. Said, a day after my dad died, a blue light came at night. Myself and someone else saw it. It hovered for 15 seconds, then backed away slowly, then disappeared.
That was probably your father just, looking to see if you guys were okay and everything. And at some point, his 48 to 72 hours would have started after the final memorial service. So at some point he would have gone into the light after that. But that was just him. That was nothing to worry about at all.
Let's see. Catch up. Have you been to Zach Baggins' Haunted Museum?
I have not.
And that's all we'll say about that. Is it when is it safe to send printed pictures for you to look at? Probably anytime, right?
Yeah, no, you can, as long as they're printed. I can't look at anything on a computer. I can't, nothing can be opened or sent that way. But if you send printed pictures, those are acceptable anytime. Post office box is on the, and of course, it's probably right here because I don't know it off the top of my head. 574 post office box in Willoughby. So send them out and and if it's something that I can show to people, make sure you sign the back of it that I have permission to show it. Otherwise, I'll look at it myself, but I won't be showing it.
So I'm putting the address in the chat, all the platforms. Please be advised, guys. I'm the one typing it, not Mary Ann. She's not touching the computer.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are full for the Zooms for this month, but we have openings next month, correct?
Yes. So May 12th, there's about 10 spaces open. That is a Friday night. Anybody from anywhere can join. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not in the Eastern time zone, please adjust yourself accordingly. So you start at our 7:30. I would love to see your reaction to that, museum. There's been some drama on some of the social media revolving around him, so we're gonna stay away from
I
that.
don't even know who that is.
Um,
We'll talk after.
yeah, that man's got money to sue whoever he wants, so we're just gonna leave that one alone. And Marianne, you will be at Goddess Elite this coming Saturday.
From 1 to 4.
That's right. So if you are local, you can come in person, bring your pictures, your videos, whatever you might have, and you would like Marianne to take a look at. It'll be interesting. And there's been a few times from some of these appearances where people have shown you things and you're like, you need to send that to us. We'll show it on a Wednesday.
Right. And they've gotten some good ones. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think we will need to do because, as we're saying this, and I just forgot about poor Kathy. She had sent me over a few pictures to show on a Wednesday morning. So we'll have to pick an upcoming Wednesday to start showing some stuff and what people. And it's funny because she was on one of those walks out there by where I used to live and where I'm waiting for the permit to come through, and an example of things that might be caught
out there. Yeah. Well, I think it's an active place. There's no doubt about that. So on May 6th, I'll be out in Lake County at Illuminate and for a talk from 6 to 8. And it'll be on my website. The newsletter is coming out, and obviously they take reservations there too. So it's not a big crowd. It's like 30 to 40 people. That's it. So it's a small group.
Let's see. But yeah, so other than the Zoom on May 12th, that's the only one that's got openings. So all of April's full. May 12th is open. You'll be at the store on Saturday. We are putting together some in-person events for summertime, so keep an eye out on both the websites for that. We're just finishing up some dates and getting permits because Marianne, I'm waiting on the permit for that place. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Columbia Ballroom in Columbia Station.
Oh, I've been there. Not as a Ghostbuster, but I've been there.
Well, I'm finding out from them what could be involved. I was driving past there a couple of days ago on my way, and I'm like,
there it is.
Big enough.
Yeah, it's plenty big enough. And like I said, I would sneak out there on Saturday nights during high school.
What?
Yeah.
You're a well-behaved young lady, Marianne.
Yep. But yeah, like I says, I've been there a number of times, but it is always full. So
let's see. So Saturday is just a meet and greet, not a talk. That's why it's free. No talk. Let's see. Linda says, a couple of weeks after my grandmother died, my sister saw a green ball of light coming toward me, calling my name. She was scared and couldn't awaken me, and she was trying to rouse me. We lost.
And again, the key word there is ball. It was a green ball. Anytime it is a perfectly round circle, that's somebody from the light. So you don't ever have to worry about that.
Let's see. Looking for the email link to send. There we go. If you have pictures you would like to email, that's the email that you can send over. Please make sure you have the 2 S's in the middle, whenghostspeakpod@gmail.com. Or somebody else is going to get it. Let's see here. So if you're new and didn't know, we have a podcast called When Ghosts Speak, and it's available on everything, even Apple now. And episodes released every Wednesday morning at like 4 a.m. in the dark 30 time zone. So it's ready for you when you're getting up on getting ready for school or work. And you can always join us then at 10 and talk about the episode like earlier in the geocaching. But you can go back and listen to all of the previous ones too. Let's see. What else might we have, Mary? I feel like we're forgetting something. We're probably not, but
it'll start picking up now, but no, we're trying to find places, believe me.
Yeah, and new places, right? Because we've done the merry-go-round a couple times. It's a nice building, but now it's kind of like, old hat.
Yeah, don't want to go there again, and at least not for a few years. So,
and I don't think I can con you up to getting on the merry-go-round again.
Yeah, so. No, that last time was a good one. That's it. So
that thing was moving pretty quick, man.
It goes fast. I can't believe how fast that thing goes.
6 miles an hour doesn't seem like it would be very fast, but
no, but it really, I mean, your hair blows when you don't even have long hair, believe me. So.
We're going to have to add that into our list of like funny clips and bloopers of just your face glaring at me. She went around the merry-go-round. I'm like, yes, gold.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Now they look all dizzy to me.
We were having fun. Marianne was not, but
yeah, that's okay. I can put up with it for a while. It's okay.
I don't know if she was ever going to turn it off because I thought like
I know
going and going. I'm like, oh, it should be ending, and I'm like, the song's restarting.
No, it's still going
again. And she was just gonna.
It's like, my God, stop already, right?
Oh, you're right, Amy. I didn't do all of the to-dos and the to-don'ts for our Zoom rules. So starts at 7:30. Make sure you adjust your time. Nobody under the age of 18. Zoom will stop and we will send your people away before. Please be mindful that other people have paid to be there as well. So time is kind of the essence. We cannot answer questions about what happened when you were 10. We can only go on about what's happening now. You've got to be in the building your question's about. Please don't be at work on your lunch break when your question is about your house.
Think you got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, play around with Zoom before you come on. I spend most of my time trying to troubleshoot how to turn cameras and mics on and off. Thank you. Yes. Please like and share. We are kind of taking Woo Woo Wednesday as to heart. So Marianne, you and I do the ghost chat now, and then sometimes we usually will do the podcast recording over on Twitch, and then myself, Brooke, and Sandy do some fun stuff Twitch only later in the evening. So Marianne, one of these days we'll have to have you join us and just pull random runes out of your bag. And
oh yeah, I got them. Yeah, never know what you're going to get. So.
That's right. So if you're not on Twitch, you can join for free. Come have fun with us later in the evening. What is Twitch? It is a streaming platform. It's technically owned by Amazon. But it tends to be a little more chat friendly and easier to use than like YouTube even. It started out for video gamers, but there's a lot going on over there now for meditation work, podcast, which is why we got on there. And now there seems to be a whole metaphysical community going on over there now. So it's pretty easy to just jump in and find new people to chat with and learn things. There's a whole crafting community where like ladies are just sitting there crocheting, the camera's pointed at their hand, and you're just watching them crochet and they're just chatting with you while, and like 70 people will sit and watch somebody just crochet. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
So it's just cool. And if you're into ASMR, there are so many channels doing different ASMR stuff for like relaxing, falling asleep, all of that stuff. So, but yeah, Chris is going to join us. I got to get a hold of Chris at some point so she can start flipping some cards with us. But yeah, so a lot of the friends that you see here on Wednesday are over on Twitch too. And we get a little more misbehaved because we don't have to worry about Marianne rolling her eyes at us. So, we can't get in trouble with Marianne. Now, if I see a new user start following that's called like ghosts or spooky, and I'm like, oh, Marianne made a Twitch.
Yeah, you'll be safe for as long as you're breathing, believe me.
She'll get Tara to do it.
Yeah, that's just not going to be happening. So
yeah, sometimes we are.
Yeah. So Okay, the truck is here, so I've got to go.
Well, good luck on your roof. Hopefully it goes all smooth and done. And but yeah, thanks for joining, everybody.
Add it to the list.
Knock on wood.
Yep. We will see everybody on Zoom on Friday, and come out and see me on Saturday. Seriously.
It's always a fun time.
Yeah. See you then.
All right. See you guys.